because
Go
I
ahead,
think
you-
it makes a mockery
Okay.
of the women's game. If the focus on, okay,
Cool.
now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented, and we're not putting the best team out there.
It's unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next. Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Did Molly Qerim just shoot herself in the foot? The ESPN host's comments about Caitlin Clark are causing a stir, and it's not looking good. Let's break down what she said, why fans are furious, and how Clark's stellar performance is making Qerim eat her words. Here's the thing, Qerim claimed Clark would hurt the game and wasn't as talented as others. You might be wondering, what was she thinking? Fans didn't hold back, unleashing their fury online. But that's not even the craziest part. Remember when Clark got left off the Olympic team? Yeah, the only available point guard didn't make the cut. Talk about a head scratcher. You'd think Clark would be crushed, right? Well, hold on to your seats because her response is about to flip this whole story on its head. What did Clark do next? Let's just say Qerim might want to start planning her apology tour. Stick around because this comeback story is one for the books. Remember when they said Clark couldn't cut it in the pros? Well, she's not just proving them wrong, she's rewriting the record books. Clark's response to the critics isn't just a comeback, it's a complete reinvention of the game. Her stats are turning heads, but there's one number that's got the whole league talking. Let's talk about those jaw-dropping numbers. Clark's averaging 18.9 points, 8.4 assists, 5.8 rebounds, and 1.4 steals per game. But it's that assist number that's really making waves. She's leading the entire league in assists, showing she's not just a scorer, but a true playmaker. But Clark's impact goes way beyond her personal stats. She's breathing new life into the Indiana Fever, a team that's been struggling for years. Thanks to Clark, they're now in playoff contention for the first time since 2016.
I'm disappointed in you. And Molly, I'm disappointed in you. Molly, what's up? You're sitting up because here's where I'm at, Molly. Where all the ladies at? Huh? What did I say? I mean, who's the bad guy, Shay Shay? It me. We were the bad guys, Shay Shay. Molly, I said.
Really, Molly? Wow.
They
Really?
jumped on us. They jumped on us, Molly. They jumped on us as a show.
That's right, one rookie is transforming an entire franchise's fortunes. You might be wondering, how is Clark handling all this pressure? Well, she's not just handling it, she's thriving on it. Remember that Olympic team snub? Instead of letting it get her down, Clark used it as fuel. She's got her sights set on the 2028 Olympics, proving she's playing the long game. Clark's success is changing the game in more ways than one. She's redefining what we expect from female athletes in the league. Every time she steps on the court, she's proving that women's basketball can be just as exciting and dynamic as the men's game. But here's where things get really interesting. Clark's not just impacting the present, she's shaping the future of the WNBA. Young girls watching her play are seeing what's possible. They're dreaming bigger, aiming higher. Clark's showing them that with talent and hard work, they can break barriers and change the game. So what does all this mean for Molly Qerim and her comments? Well, Clark's performance is the ultimate comeback. She's not just proving Qerim wrong, she's making those comments look downright silly. Every assist, every point, every win is a statement. Just when it seemed Clark's stellar performance had silenced her critics, Qerim decided to stir the pot again. Her latest comments about Clark have ignited a firestorm that's threatening to overshadow the rookie's historic season. What could Qerim possibly say to reignite this controversy? Well, buckle up, because Qerim's new take is a doozy. She's now suggesting that Clark is lucky UConn isn't at full strength, implying her success is due to others' injuries. Yeah, you heard that right. Qerim's trying to link Clark's incredible performance to Paige Buecher's being sidelined. Talk about a stretch. Fans aren't having it. Social media exploded with reactions, and let's just say they're not sending Qerim any love. Comments are flooding in, calling her remarks corny and accusing her of straight up jealousy. One fan hit the nail on the head, asking, so if Buecher's wasn't injured, Clark wouldn't be able to be as good at basketball as she is? I failed to see the connection here. And you know what? That fan's got a point. Trying to connect Clark's success to Buecher's injury is like saying LeBron only won championships because Michael Jordan retired. It just doesn't add up. Clark's dominating the entire league, not just UConn. Her assists, her scoring, her impact on the Indiana Fever, none of that has anything to do with who's on the court for other teams. But here's where things get really interesting. This isn't just about Clark and Qerim anymore. It's opening up a bigger conversation about how we talk about women in sports. Why is it that when a female athlete excels, there's always someone trying to explain it away? You don't see this kind of talk when male athletes break records. This whole situation is shining a spotlight on the way women's sports are discussed and perceived. It's raising questions about bias, about the narratives we create around female athletes, and about the responsibility of sports commentators. Are we really still at a point where we can't just celebrate a woman's success without trying to find reasons to diminish it? The backlash against Qerim's comments is more than just fans defending their favorite player. It's a push for change in how we approach women's sports. People are demanding better, more thoughtful commentary. They're calling for an end to these outdated, often sexist narratives that have plagued women's athletics for far too long. You might think this is just another sports drama, but the Qerim Clark saga is cracking open a much bigger issue. What if I told you this controversy is exposing a deep-rooted problem in how we talk about women in sports? Let's zoom out for a second. Qerim's comments aren't happening in a vacuum. They're part of a larger pattern where female athletes' achievements are often questioned or downplayed. It's like there's an unwritten rule that when a woman excels in sports, we need to find a reason why it's not as impressive as it seems. Think about it. How many times have you heard a female athlete's success attributed to luck or someone else's misfortune? Now compare that to how we talk about male athletes. When LeBron breaks a record, we don't say it's because Steph Curry had a bad day, so why the double standard? And this kind of commentary doesn't just affect public perception, it hits the athletes where it hurts. Imagine being Caitlin Clark, breaking records left and right, only to have your success chalked up to someone else's injury. That's not just unfair, it's potentially damaging. But here's where it gets interesting. Athletes like Clark aren't letting these narratives hold them back. If anything, they're using them as fuel. Every time someone tries to diminish their achievements, they come back stronger, proving their critics wrong on the court. Now, let's turn the spotlight on ourselves for a second. As fans, we play a bigger role in this than we might realize. Every time we share a post, leave a comment, or even just watch a video, we're shaping the conversation around women's sports. Are we challenging these biased narratives, or are we accidentally reinforcing them? It's time for a change. And it starts with us. We need to start questioning the way women's sports are covered. Why is it that when a female athlete dominates, there's always someone trying to explain it away? Why can't we just celebrate their success without the asterisks? The good news is, people are starting to wake up to this issue. The backlash against Qerim's comments shows that fans are demanding better. They're calling out unfair comparisons and pushing for more equitable coverage. It's a start, but there's still a long way to go. So, what's next? How do we ensure fair coverage for all athletes, regardless of gender? It's not just about calling out the bad takes. It's about actively supporting and promoting positive narratives around women's sports. It's about tuning into women's games, sharing highlights, and celebrating their achievements without qualifiers. Here's the real game changer. It's not just about Molly Qerim or Caitlin Clark. This whole situation is shining a light on how we talk about women in sports. It's time we start questioning these biased narratives. Next time you're watching a women's game, pay attention to how it's covered. Are the commentators focusing on the athlete's skills, or are they bringing up irrelevant stuff? Are they celebrating achievements or finding ways to downplay them? You've got more power than you think. Every time you watch a game, share a highlight, or call out unfair coverage, you're shaping the conversation. Want to be a real MVP? Start supporting women's sports not just for the game, but for how it's talked about. The future of fair sports coverage, it could be in your hands.